Okay, everybody, welcome to our broadcast tonight. My name is Trevor, and I'm going to be hosting tonight's broadcast. There's been some interest in us teaching you guys a little bit more about some of the nitty-gritty details of working in WordPress, which is our back end for our affiliate websites. So we're going to do that, and we're going to center most of our discussion today on this, what we call the visual editor within WordPress. Okay, so let me just zoom in on this just a touch so you know what I'm talking about. Guys, when I'm talking about the visual editor, I'm talking about what's called the WYSIWYG. Okay, I'm not crazy. That's actually a thing. The WYSIWYG. Okay, so it stands for, it's an acronym for what you see is what you get. It's a content editor, and we've talked to you guys about this before. In fact, I'll show you one, and we'll work on one here in just a minute. But essentially, the WYSIWYG is used to edit and format content in a way that hopefully is pleasing to the person who's on your website reading your content. Can I just give you an example of not so good content? And I know some of you guys have seen this before, but let me show you what a not so good blog post might look like. Okay, here we are on our sort of test site, albionstrawberry.com, and I want you to look at this post right here, and I want you to tell me what's wrong with this post. I'm just sort of scrolling down and showing you. I don't expect you to read it. It's actually it's a copied article. I'll be happy to admit it's a copied article, and guys, you guys know as well as I do, copied content is fraught with all kinds of issues and problems as it relates to gaining rankings in Google. It certainly is, Kirk. It's definitely copied and pasted. I see content like this out there online all too often, and unfortunately, I occasionally see content that looks a little bit like this from clients that we're working with here in the program, and I think to myself, that's not going to work, right? Now, talk to me for just a minute about this content, and I want you to tell me, and we're going to list a couple of reasons as to why this isn't going to work. Now, I'm reading some of your comments. Some of you guys are saying, well, it's too long, there's no pictures, it looks copied and pasted, doesn't grab your attention, no spacing, everything's crunched up, displeasing to the eye. I couldn't agree more. How much do you want to read this? Nobody wants to read a wall of text, right? Too long, not original, big blocks of text, no paragraphs, should have an extra line between paragraphs, no title, no breaks and paragraphs, etc. You guys are spot on. Okay, so you're telling me what's wrong with it. Okay, so I get that, but why is that a problem? How is that going to hurt my website here? Let's make a little list, shall we? Okay, how is this gonna hurt what we're trying to do? Not just hurt. How is it going to not help us accomplish our goals? Because after all, guys, what's our goal here? Our goal is to make some of this, right? We're trying to make this stuff right here, and this stuff, money comes from ads, correct? This comes from advertisements that are on our website, okay? Well, advertisements don't pay us anything unless we are doing what? We're getting traffic, right? So we've got to get visitors on the site, don't we? I'm going to label that because guess what? I bet you guys don't hardly even know what that is. Traffic. Traffic leads to people clicking on ads. Clicked on ads lead to money in your pocket, right? Okay, so here's the golden question, and this gets asked all the time. In fact, some of you guys, while we've been doing these trainings, have said, "Okay, Trevor, I get that we've got this website, and that we've got these blog posts written, and we've got ads and AdSense and affiliate links, but how do we get this right here? How do we get traffic to the site?" Well, I can tell you for sure it's not through producing content like this. I'm pretty convinced, as I've done this for a long time, that oftentimes the quality of your content will actually yield to some extent the success of your affiliate site. If your content is poorly written, not formatted well, and copied well, like this example right here, well, then traffic's not going to find us. We're not going to get visitors. So when it comes to marketing, some of you guys have 15, 20, 25, 30 pieces of content on your site, and you say, "Okay, Trevor, I've got the content on my site. Now I'm ready for marketing." Well, what I'm suggesting to you guys tonight is your content, your articles are basically your marketing. There's some things that you can do to market your website outside of writing content, but you have to have a ton of good content for this whole strategy to work. And so I'm just telling you right now, if you don't know what you're doing from a technical standpoint in terms of formatting your content in a way that's pleasing to the eye, what that does is it prevents things from happening. So what yields this traffic for the most part is we need I guess if we're gonna work on this here, let me just create a little extra space. So I'm gonna say what leads to traffic is going to be, at least in part, a few different things. Google search results. So getting found in Google is going to lead to traffic. Getting found in Facebook. So I'll do a little FB for Facebook, Twitter. So in other words, like social accounts, right? That stuff is really what yields traffic for you, right? Well, how do you get high in Google and how do you get found on social media? It's through people sharing your content. It's through links being attracted to your content. We won't go into the theory behind that right now, but suffice it to say that you'll never rank well in Google and you'll never get people to share your content within social media if it's not formatted very well. And so tonight I want to address that core issue of formatting. And I'm just going to take this post that we've created right here, right, this whole entire post, and I'm just going to walk you through using your visual WYSIWYG editor so that you guys know how to use some of the tools that are available to you to produce eye-pleasing content, okay? That's what we're going to do. Let me just look at a few of your comments. I think you guys have left me a few things. Let me look. Yeah, it does need a catch for sure, a catch, quote unquote. Kathy, I agree. There's, I mean, if somebody shared this article with me in social media, I'd probably look at it and think, oh boy, and I'd skim through it a little bit. But even skimming through it would be hard to do because what do you skim? It's just a big block of text. Formatting really is an issue here. You guys have heard the statistic too, right? That you have literally seconds to capture the attention of somebody or they're gone. They're off your site. It's too easy for people to find content that's decent. They're not going to spend time on content that is poor, which is one of the main reasons why Google is never going to rank this very well, because it's not engaging and they can't afford to have people or websites existing at the top of Google that don't have engaging content. So off of the theory for a minute, I think we all understand the theory. Let's talk about some of the practice behind it. So here's a link that I'm going to send out to all of you guys. You guys should all see that. It's en.support.wordpress.com/visual-editor. I really should probably post this here. I wonder if I can put it on the whiteboard here. There you go. You guys see that okay? I know that's probably a little small. Whoops. Let me post that back up. It disappeared. There you go. Now you guys should be able to see that all right. There we go. There's your web address. And this actually explains the WordPress WYSIWYG. So let's go into my site here. Let's edit this post here within WordPress. This is found here in my posts on the left-hand side under all posts. And here it is. Here's my big wall of text right here. Okay. Your visual editor or your WYSIWYG editor is this thing right here. Now, this has been shown and addressed in other webinars, but we haven't gone through specifically each little part. And you'd be surprised. There's a lot we can do to format this and kind of make it cool, okay? So, number one, by the way, if you need to add a picture into this, which you should, right? I think every single post of yours should have a picture. The picture starts right here with add media. Now I'm going to just grab a picture off of Google Images, which I wouldn't recommend you do. We do a training on images and copyrights, and I really wouldn't advise you guys just to go to Google Images and just take whatever image you want. But in this case, I am, just for the sake of this example, because I need a picture to use. If you want to load a picture, and you'll often see a little like, let me see if I can find a good example of this. I think I found it earlier. Yes, on this site right here. I want you to compare this blog post right here on this website to the one that I just showed you guys. Okay. I won't show you mine again. You know what mine look like. This is off of getrichslowly.org, a really well-known blog, essentially doing what you guys are trying to do on a really high level. If I scroll down, I want you just to notice some things about this blog post, okay? I'm just going to scroll down, maybe make some comments for me in the comment section. What do you notice about this blog post as I scroll down at it? This is all part of the post right here. What's done well here? Notice how long it is, by the way. Is it okay to have a really long blog post? Oh yeah, if it's done well. People don't mind scrolling. This is thousands of words. We're almost there. Okay, and now we're here at the comments. Yeah, it's a nice looking blog, right? Lawrence calls it purty. It is. It is a nice looking blog post. It's visually appealing, colorful, well written, eye-catching, good format. The format is good. Now, what's good about the format? Clarify that for me. I think the format's consistent. Notice that there's not a ton of variation in the way it looks. They don't use a ton of colors and stuff in their text. It's pretty like black and white, bold. There's numbered lists and stuff. It's broken up well, bulleted lists, well organized. There's even, I kind of like this approach. A lot of blog content these days has an image right at the very top, like a really nice looking image at the top, which I think is great. Most of this stuff you guys can do yourself if you just know what you're doing with a WYSIWYG editor. It doesn't take any advanced programming to do the majority of this kind of stuff. So I want to show you. I want to show you some of the things that we can do to make that happen, so you have the skill set to do it. So let's go back here to our site. If I wanted to add in a picture here, just so you know how to add a picture to your blog post, you go here to Add Media. And I would upload files right here if I wanted to upload something from my computer. And of course, I would have had to download this picture prior to getting to this screen, which you guys saw me do. There it is right there, and I'll insert into post, and then there it is. It's nice to have a picture. Now, here's the thing. Once you load it in, you can manipulate your picture quite a bit, You can align left right here. And notice if I align left, notice how my text is wrapping around my picture. It's not a bad idea to have text wrap. If you're going to have pictures within your posts, you can just do like a big block picture and then content, big block picture, content, much like what they did here on Get Rich Slowly. See, picture is kind of a big block and then content underneath it. Big block, content, so on and so forth. I like text wrapping a little bit, but even if you don't, I could put my cursor right here and I could adjust that. I can press enter a few times and there we go. My text is now below that picture, okay? Or I can just change the alignment of the picture. If I click on the picture, I get this little menu and I can center align. Okay, now there's a big gap here, so I'll just fix that with some spaces. You know, I can right align, no alignment, right, whatever. If I want to edit the picture, I can edit the size right here. Make it small, medium, full size, or I can even create a custom size. Here's the alt text. Somebody tell me real quick, what's alternative text? It's certainly a spot we can use keywords, right? Alternative text is used. Google actually does view the text there. And whatever text is used in alternative text can have some weight on the relevance of the page and help it rank a little bit better within Google. The caption here is just going to show up underneath the picture. So I'll say, this is a caption. And you guys will, if I update here at the bottom right, my caption shows up here underneath. But once again, just so that it's very clear, you need to make sure you're doing pictures the right way. And one of our trainings in our WordPress affiliate marketing training was on copyright and pictures. Let's make sure we do that the right way. And on how to find pictures, etc. Okay, so add a picture in. The problem with this first paragraph, I think, as I look at it here, is it's really long and really big. So we might want to break this up a little bit, right? And that goes for this entire article. This entire article needs to be broken up. Now here's a little skill. A lot of you guys will notice if you press enter at double spaces. See, one time I press enter, I get a double space. If you hold the shift button and then press enter, it single spaces. Double space for enter, shift enter, single spaces. That'll actually save you a fair bit of headache. Now, I'm not going to look through my content and see where the best places to break this up is, but I'm just going to break it up a little bit here and there so you guys get the idea. Okay, there we go. Even just that little change right there made our content significantly better. broken up, you've got paragraphs, and you've got a picture. But I more so than like doing an example of what and how to sort of manage your content, I want to show you more about the stuff up here in your WYSIWYG. Now, initially, it might look like this. When you get to where you're doing a blog post, it might look like where you've just got one line right here. If you click on this toolbar toggle icon, and I better zoom in on all this or else it's going to be way too small. So let me just zoom in. So there you go, your toolbar toggle icon. If I click on that, I get an extended toolbar. Okay, so I get a second row. Okay, there's my second row. So and if I want to toggle that out, I just click on it and it goes away, right? Okay, so let me take you through each of these little buttons briefly, okay? So you've got the bold button, which is really easy to use. I can highlight a little bit of text. Let's say I wanted to create a little heading here. Heading one. And if I wanted to bold this, I just simply highlight and click bold. Okay, so that's all bold. If I want it unbolded, highlight and click bold again. Unbolded, right? Easy enough. Italicize, same thing. I can italicize or not. You've got the strike through option, which I think is kind of funny that that's their standard. I suppose if you see people use strike through a little bit as more of a joke while they're writing, if they say something that they didn't mean or they shouldn't have said or they should have edited out, maybe they put a little strike through just to be funny, but that's probably not a function you'll use a whole lot. So I'm going to uncheck that or toggle that off. One thing you'll use a lot of, I think, are bulleted lists. So if I wanted to create a bulleted list right here, I can just click on this and it'll create a bullet for me. And I can just create my bullets as I want to. Okay, you just press enter. Hit the enter button and it creates another one. If I want to stop creating bullets, I hit enter another time and it stops the bulleted list. Okay. Those are nice within a blog post, right? Something skimmable. And you saw get rich slowly using that too. Same goes for this numbered list. Same thing. This is a list 2. This is a list 3. I just hit enter and it already does it for me. If I wanted to stop at 2, I just hit enter again and it deletes it. And I can backspace and then I've got my list, right? So real easy. The cool thing about this WYSIWYG and what sort of makes all of this stuff really nice is it automatically creates the code for all of this. So if I click on my text tab up here at the top right, that's going to actually give me this HTML code. In HTML, I would have to know this code, this coding, in order to create a bulleted list. It's the UL code for a bulleted list and the OL code for a numbered list. You see, you don't need to know that if you've got a WYSIWYG, which we do. So I can go back to visual and I don't have to worry about that stuff. I just need to know how to use this stuff up here. This is one that I really like. Let's say you get someone who has a quote, right? This is the best webinar I have ever attended. Amazing. I know that's how you guys are all feeling right now. Right? But if you want to quote somebody in your content, put it in quotes like that, and then you can select this block quote, which formats this really nicely. See how nicely formatted that is? You get this little line right here. It changes the color just a little bit, gives it an italic look, and it just looks nice in your content. So if you're quoting a source or you're quoting somebody, that quote option is really cool. One thing you'll notice that was used a fair bit in Get Rich Slowly was this line. Did you guys notice this at all? You see these horizontal lines that are used to break up content here and there? There's a line. Here's another line. There's a line. lines in your content are actually kind of nice. It breaks things up a little bit. It separates. What's cool is you can create a line really easily using your WYSIWYG. And that's this option right here. Just hit horizontal line and boom. See that? I want another line to break up these two paragraphs. Boom, there's another line. See how nice that is? It just kind of formats it real nicely. You've got alignment, so I can align my text all left. I can center all my text like that. I can right align. You guys kind of understand alignment. Generally, you should have everything pretty much left aligned. Creating links is something you ought to consider doing, right? Let's say I want to link the salt here to an informational page that's about salt somewhere else. So I might go to Google real quick, and I might type in salt Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is the source of all knowledge, right? So here's this page on Wikipedia all about salt. I might highlight this URL right up here at the top. This URL is the address for this page. And I'll probably go and head back to my blog post. I can highlight the salt, click on this chain link right here, paste in my URL, and hit add link. And there we go. This is now going to be linked within my content. Now, guys, we need links, right? We need links where appropriate. I'm just doing kind of a funny example. Obviously, the salt that they're referring to here may not be applicable to like table salt that this Wikipedia page is about. But if you have blog posts that refer to other blog posts that you've written, or maybe I've written something really great that I want to reference within this blog post, you should be creating and using links a fair bit. Look how often links are used within this one. I mean, they're all over the place. See all these blue links that are used? Let's find another one. Yeah, there's a bunch right there. More links. There's a link, right? Links make using the internet a whole lot easier, so you should be creating them within your content. Luckily for us, it's not hard to do. You just use this little chain link and that creates the code. If I want to unlink, I can highlight and click remove link, and that should take out the link for us. Okay. We'll do more on links later, but that's basically what it is. This will be interesting to some of you guys. I didn't realize this tool was available, but there's an insert read more tag. So let's say I want to, on my home page, just summarize this. I don't want the whole blog post to display on my home page of my site, in other words. So I only want this first paragraph to display. Right here, I can do insert read more, and it puts in this little function that will cut off my blog post. Weeks ago, we showed you guys how to use a code to do this. Apparently, there's just a little button that'll do it for you. I'll show you more about that here in just a minute. If I toolbar toggle, I'm going to bring up these other ones right here. If you want to create an H tag for SEO purposes, real easy to do. You go paragraph, and you can choose a heading tag here. Headings are used to break up the post a little bit. You saw headings used within Get Rich Slowly. These are all headings right here. Heading, heading, heading. Good content is about breaking up all of your ideas, and headings are a good way to do that. So, I can do a heading 1 tag here, and that makes it larger, right? So that's what you do here. You can underline certain aspects of your content if you feel like it's important. Don't over format though. I mean, like if you got in here and you were underlining and bold and italicizing and pictures everywhere and links everywhere, it might get a little confusing. You want to find a balance between the wall of text that we looked at originally and what we're creating here. So that's underline. Justify is an interesting one. Guys, you notice if you read a newspaper, they have it set up as a justified format a lot of times, which means if you notice my right margin here is uneven. My left margin is perfectly even right here, but my right margin is not. Generally, if you hit justify, that squares up the entire thing, right? You see a lot of that in newspapers. I don't recommend using it for the most part. Bloggers typically don't justify, so I don't know if I would use that, but in case you want to, that's there. Text color is an interesting one if you want to highlight something and add some text color to it. There we go. I could make that red if I wanted to, although I wouldn't recommend using too many colors. You'll notice most good content is pretty much just black and white, unless they want to really highlight something. Okay. Other things that are kind of nice, if you formatted an area and you want to clear your formatting and take it back to the way it originally looked, highlight it and do clear formatting. I won't go over paste as text because you'll probably never use it, but it is talked about a little bit in that link I showed you guys earlier. Special characters, in case you need to use a trademark or a copyright sign or whatever, you can use special characters. A little black spade I could put in right here, whatever, right? These black spades could be my bullet points, right? I could add in another special character. We'll make this a club, right? So I could do bullet points with these if I wanted, if you wanted to do something a little more interesting. Okay. You can indent if you want. I don't see a lot of indenting used, but if you want to indent one way or the other, this function allows you to do that. If you make a mistake on your blog as you're formatting and creating it, you can always hit the undo button, and that'll undo my last entry. So if I click undo here, that would undo what I just created, so on and so forth. I don't think I'll show you any more. This is sort of plenty for you to look at. If I now save what we did, if I update and we can preview our changes, you guys will see a dramatic improvement in the way our content looks here. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit so I can see this better. Okay, so here's what it looks like now. You've got your picture, you've got headings, you've got this continue reading, which I was telling you about earlier. That's that little function I told you about a minute ago, that if you want to break up your blog posts and not have full-on blog posts on your homepage, you can break it up where you select the continue reading option, and then if I click on that, that's going to give me the entire blog post, which just makes things so much easier to read, right? All this broken up, it's just a much better post. Now I would, what else I would do here is I would probably maybe add in some more images, maybe link in some other places where it's appropriate. We haven't even spoken to the importance of making sure your content is just interesting and well written. And it's hard to do in a webinar, especially because today we're mainly just talking about formatting, but we'd want to make sure this is well written and maybe add some AdSense and affiliate links into this a little bit. But a word about that, just make sure you don't overdo the affiliates in your content. We've talked about that a lot before, so I won't talk too much about it right now. But I think if you guys can effectively use what I just showed you and understand how to use the WYSIWYG a little bit, your content's going to be fantastic. Nothing fancy though, right? It doesn't need to be anything fancy. You just need good headings, black and white content, and information, well written, etc., and it's good enough. Don't go overboard on it, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. And if you want a good example of well-written content that's formatted well, look no further than this getrichslowly.org. I just think they do such a great job. This is a blog I've read for years and years and years. The guy that owns this blog has made a ton of money off of it, and not because he was some kind of expert internet marketer when he did this. He was just super passionate about finance and knew how to write good content. And you can say, well, how did it get so popular? Or why are there so many visitors? Or, it's because his content was fabulous first. And then he focused on internet marketing strategies like SEO and link building, etc. So if you get tired of us telling you, focus on your content, work on your content, well, guess what? We're doing it for a reason. It's going to be your best weapon when it comes to marketing this stuff. Okay? All right, so I think that's probably good enough for today. Let me just look back through a few of your comments, and then we'll go ahead and we'll finish up, okay? Let's see here. Oliver, did you catch how to underline words? I'll just show you again in case you didn't. You just highlight whatever you want, and you select the U, the underline right here, and there you go. It's now underlined. When you link something, it's automatically underlined, which works out real well. Yeah, Kathy, you really don't have a lot of control over where the blog post title goes. It's just at the top of your content. I didn't even put in a title. All of your guys' stuff should have titles. I'll update it and we'll show you what that looks like. There you go. There's our title. Yeah, you can't really format that unless, where you can format it is if you know coding and you can get into the code of the entire site, you can format. But I just think pick a good template and don't worry too much about the formatting of the general template. Just pick one that you generally like and stick with it. Yeah, we'll have to look at yours. Kathy, yours is on that WordPress.com, which is always a little bit different than if you go through a hosting company through WordPress.org, which is kind of what we've been doing in these training series. Yeah, Michelle, if you've got some older posts that the content really isn't very good, or maybe the format just isn't very good, absolutely go and edit it. You don't have to leave it. After all, you can come right back into your blog dashboard, right? And you can come over here to your post section, and you can look through all of your posts here and edit those accordingly. Nothing is set in stone, so absolutely go for it. Yeah, Lawrence, a WYSIWYG is basically the visual tool. They're kind of the same thing. You know how in Volusion you guys have a WYSIWYG when you're writing product descriptions or writing content in Volusion? It's the same thing. It's just a little bit different. Most editing software for websites have WYSIWYG options. And you don't if you want to access your WYSIWYG, all WordPress backend sites have one of these. So when you first sign up and create your WordPress account, which if you have questions about that, ask me and I can walk you through the steps of doing it. But you set up WordPress and then you'll have access to writing and creating content. And the WYSIWYG is there just by default. Today was just showing you kind of how to use it. Good questions. Do we have to use the URL shown to get here? Well, this URL you do. If you want to learn, I guess I shared this URL earlier because this shows you all the different uses of the WYSIWYG. We kind of covered them today in this webinar, but if you want to look back and understand the WYSIWYG a little bit better, you can. Now, eventually, all you guys are going to need to not only understand the visual WYSIWYG editor, but you're going to want to understand just a little bit of HTML. I can't tell you how useful it is for me when something isn't working right, or the WYSIWYG just is being a little glitchy, which can happen, where I can't quite get my formatting the way I want it. it's nice to know enough HTML to be dangerous. And so you can come in here and sometimes figure out what the issues are. I'm not advocating you spend a lot of time worrying about learning HTML right this minute, but it certainly doesn't hurt. But I think after what we've discussed today, I mean, your goal should be to create this great content. I guess going back and just coming around full circle before I finish up. Let me zoom out of this. Right, at the end of the day, I know a lot of you guys are here because you're trying to make an income, right? And just working our way backwards, if money is our goal, ads are going to be what get us there. And ads don't make us any money unless traffic is on the site, and traffic doesn't come to the site unless you're ranking well in Google and getting found and shared in social media. And none of that happens unless you've got really well done content. It all boils down to what we're talking about here. This is kind of the formatting side of the discussion about content. The what should I write about side is something that we probably need to spend some more time on, because I know some of you guys get caught up in, well, hey, I've written quite a bit of content, but what else can I write about? I don't know what else to write about. I'm out of ideas. There's plenty to write about within all of your guys' respective niches. We just need to teach you a little bit better how to do the research for it. Okay? Okay, well, guys, this is good enough. Thanks for holding on with me tonight. I as always enjoy doing these trainings for you. For those of you who are a little more on the advanced side, thanks for bearing with us as we cover a few more of the basics. And I'd like to continue to make sure we cover these WordPress basics over the next few weeks so that everybody feels better about using this software. Okay? All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming live. We'll see you next time.